Welcome back, listeners to Learning from Friends. My name is Cade Curtis, your tour guide on this love adventure that we get to do every couple of weeks together. It's good to be back, being able to share some good time with you. I hope you're enjoying your summertime, getting out there and just, even though it's hot, definitely is hot down here in Georgia. We've had our heat waves, and around the world, they're having their different heat waves. Make sure you're drinking your water and staying hydrated. Well, guys, as you all know, before we get starting into our episode, we got to do my mom's quote of the day. So, Mom, take it away.
You cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. Jane Goodall.
Thank you, Mom, for the quote. It always provides the great insight into the episode and just gets us off on the right foot. So today, I have my friend Dan Sayles, who's here, who's going to help us get some insight into the Jehovah Witness community. This is something that has been around in my community, been around in my life, and I don't really know a lot about, and I've been very curious about it. And my friend Dan is going to sit here and is going to walk us through a little bit of just kind of like the tip of the iceberg, a little bit of information about the Jehovah Witness community. Dan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So the large majority of the audience here has loved to learn who you are. So give us like a Wikipedia page, quick summary, and little highlights of who's Dan Sayles.
Oh, gosh. Born in Virginia, Navy brat in Norfolk. Moved to New York for 40 years, started a family. I've got 3 children. And my oldest son lives in Marietta, and he was having a grandchild, and he asked me to come down to help him. So here I am.
Nice. And that is leading into the next question here of like, how do we know each other? That leads to the whole how we're here.
Well, when I got here, I needed a job. So I got a job where you worked, and we know each other from work.
Yeah. And that's the thing was you never know what people's lives you're going to kind of run into and how you're going to be able to kind of interact and things like that. And then it's kind of, we started talking sports and music, and then it kind of just branched out from there. And I feel very lucky that we've been able to kind of share this. And then whenever I learned that you were a witness, I was like, God, I'd like learn more about this because of it's important. It's a part of our livelihoods, and it's part of your identity. It's part of your faith. It's who you are. And so, like, can you share me what first attracted you to the Jehovah Witness faith?
The first thing that attracted me to it was that my youngest son, when he moved to Phoenix, he was struggling. He didn't have a car. He was young, but he was a construction worker, mainly stucco interior and exterior. And at the bus stop one day, he ran into another witness, and that started him on his journey. And at the young age of 25, he became an elder in his congregation. And every time I would talk to him, he would urge me to start learning. And then I started dating a girl in New York, and she was a disfellowshipped witness. And I started learning with her, and then we started going to the Kingdom Hall and learning about that religion.
Nice. So, like, what do you believe are like the core principles or beliefs of the Jehovah Witnesses? That's like a lot, but give us some of the kind of general basics.
Generally, I would say I was raised a Catholic and got disillusioned with all that. So this was the first part of Christianity that just made sense. Made sense to me anyway. And basically, if it's not in the Bible, it's not of God, I guess, the best way to explain it. So basically, we take things from the Bible, scriptures and stuff like that, and just it's literal, and we apply it to our lives.
So you take it literal word for word, kind of as it goes through.
Word for word, yes.
Okay.
I mean, with the acknowledgement that, okay, we're Christians, we're all sinners, and, there's other religions, and, like, we have to make accommodations for that. But in our personal beliefs, it's really all about the Bible and what's written in the Bible.
Okay. So, like, how does the organization, like, interpret the Bible and what its significance is for living in according to its teachings? Like, how do you sit back and literally take some old English or translations over the years? Do you have, like, a certain translation you guys use or something like that to kind of be able to interpret? Because that's a lot that's changed over the years.
That actually is a great question, because Catholics, we start out with the King James, and what witnesses usually go by in the congregations I've been in is the New World interpretation of the oldest Bible that we know. So
Okay.
by that, that's a truer word. I think there's an understanding that, okay, translations over the years may have changed some of the subject matter, but an older Bible was found and it was all in Hebrew, so it was easily translated into the New World translation.
You mentioned a word earlier of governing body. Like, what is the role of the governing body within the Jehovah Witnesses?
From what I understand, all the fiscal policies, building new halls, expanding, that's their main role. They don't really get into too much. And at the actual congregation level, where people come to pray and worship, there's a set of what they call elders. And if there's an issue, basically the elders get together and make a determination whether you're available to still be a witness or you get what they call disfellowshipped. But that doesn't exclude you from coming to the meetings. It just means that you're not an official witness, I guess.
Oh, so it's kind of you're not banished in that sense. It's not a banishing in a way.
You can always come back. It's not like a permanent thing, but it's
Okay.
just like, okay, you're doing these things, you're admitting them, and we don't sanction those or believe in what you're doing. So basically, get yourself right and come back.
Okay. And now, is this like an elected vote people in, or is this like elders of the church where it's like you've been there for so long and you're kind of just like grandfathered in, like your grandfather was it, your great grandfather was it? It's kind of passed down through families, or how do you know how that works for?
Yeah, no. Like I said, my son, he was 25 when he became an elder of his congregation. So I guess it really depends on like what you learn, what you've shown as far as how much you're willing to learn, the eagerness to learn, and basically people can see how the way you run your life towards church values, and then at some point they just say, hey, you've got the requisite
You have the leadership
skill
qualities,
skills
you have the skill set, you have the qualities,
qualities.
yeah,
Yes.
you've got all that different stuff that can be able. That's huge. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that. There's a lot of different stuff that connotations and stuff that kind of come whenever people talk about the Jehovah's Witnesses, but like how does your faith influence your daily life and personal decisions that you make?
Well, you're just taught basically what God wants you to do and God doesn't want you to do. So, like every decision you make is based on like, okay, what does God want me to do? Like, does He want me to go left, right, straight, and not to say we have to be all perfect and all that, but it like the Bible really is. No matter what you think of it, it's a good manual for good living. You don't really have to be religious to read it, follow it, and then all of a sudden, you've got a good life, basically.
So, what are some important practices and rituals that the Jehovah's Witnesses observe? Because I know there's like a lot there that I don't really know.
See, holidays are usually a big reason, and I will say it's difficult to become a witness. I know I had my own ideas about what a witness was before I actually like swallowed my pride and came to a kingdom hall and actually learned what was actually going on. But holidays are a big deterrence for
Okay.
people. Like I think we all know intellectually that all these holidays, Christmas, Halloween, they're all pagan in origin. Easter also, it's also a pagan origin. It's just different things with different words hundreds of years later. But yeah, if you look in the Bible, there's no mention of Christmas, Halloween, or Easter, or any of those holidays.
That's true.
So, um, and actually some of the origins of Easter, Halloween, and Christmas, the big three I call them, are just not acceptable in the faith.
Okay. And then what are like you mentioned earlier about your son, he had just moved to Phoenix and was trying to reestablish himself and get himself into the kind of establishing himself as an adult. Like, how does the community support its members, and what is the role that the fellowships play in your faith?
So, as I said before, just the faith alone just keeps you straight, keeps you on the straight and narrow. It keeps you focused on growing. Now, so I'm 54, and like as far as encouragement goes, they are off the charts as far as encouraging you to better your life, get yourself together, not just spiritually, but like all the other elements that are in life, like financially, they want you stable. They want you to eat right, eat the correct things, and they just want your whole life to be good. So, and they're very encouragement is the biggest thing. They don't discourage you at all. Being at the Kingdom Hall for a meeting, they call them meetings, not services or whatever. But at a meeting, there's a back and forth. There's just not some guy preaching at you. He's asking you questions, and you raise your hand and you answer what you've learned, what you studied, and you answer the question. And even though it might be a little bit wrong or not 100% what he's looking for, he'll thank you for your answer. And if it's not what he's looking for, he'll just move on and ask somebody else until he's getting. So there's no like putting you down if you're not correct.
Okay.
It's always positive. And that to me is another one of the big things about being there. Because it's like, okay, you're not wrong. You're here, you're trying to learn,
Yeah.
and you're not 100% wrong. You're on the track. And even if you're learning, and then maybe the next time that same service comes up, then you'll have the
Another answer.
correct
Yeah.
answer. Right.
Yeah. And then you're talking about with me that you go to during the week, you go to certain like meetings, is it, in order to like kind of learn to slowly become kind of like a witness?
There's a midweek meeting. It's even this is another thing. I should probably say this first. Preface: all the meetings are exactly the same every week around the world. We all learn the same thing the same week.
Oh, really?
We do,
Wow.
and it's all set up ahead of time. So the midweek meeting for me is Thursdays, and they have a topic and they run through it. It's about 2 hours, and then my meeting is on Sunday, which we have what's called the Watchtower, and that basically takes things directly from the Bible, and then you talk them out and understand it weekly. And the topics are different, and the topics could be anything from eating correctly. And I think the big one lately has been, for me, is child rearing, like what you should do as a parent. And just because of my grandson, and then my oldest son is also a witness now. So it's great to see him following those things. So
That's awesome. It's like now we see people out in the streets evangelizing and going door to door. Like, what is the significance of the door to door evangelism? How do you approach it? Because that's something that has been very curious to me.
right. And see, was the one thing that really got me when I was asked to participate. And it's like, okay, I know people hate it. And the big joke around it is like, a Jehovah Witness is at my door and like slam the door, call the cops or whatever. And we do that because that's in the Bible that he wants us to spread the word. But it's not as pushy as it was. And I say we, witnesses have acknowledged that it was probably a little intrusive. Well, definitely a little intrusive. And so we've changed as far as, we'll offer to you, but if you accept, we'll do it. If you don't accept, then we're not going to knock on your door 100 times after you close it.
Okay.
And we'll always offer, if you change your mind, here's a card. We usually carry cards, and offer for you to come to the Kingdom Hall. Anybody can ever show, no matter what you are, you can show up there and you'll be accepted. And they actually have separate booths if you don't speak English.
Oh, really?
Yes. So it can be translated immediately through headphones. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Like, is there like a process to go through before you do the door to door evangelism? Do you have to like go through something?
Yes, you have to be a baptized witness. And to do that, you have to go through 60 chapters of their Watchtower and there's lessons involved, and basically it's real simple, just like elementary school. You just
Okay.
repeat things that you learned, and then they sign you off on each chapter, and then once you reach the 60, you're eligible to become baptized, and they do the ceremony of baptism, and then you're an official witness.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I like that. There's been all misunderstandings and misconfusions of how do you view other Christian denominations in their beliefs?
Like, we're not gonna put anybody down for any religion. But if you engage us, we're gonna tell you our truth and not sugarcoat it either. Like the whole holiday thing. Like, how come you don't celebrate holidays? Because they're pagan. That's why we don't do it. That's it. And that I know that's definitely not a popular thing to say, but if you look at it, it makes believe me, it makes sense. Like, it didn't make sense to me in the beginning, but now after hearing the theories behind it, it's easier to get behind because it just makes sense.
Out of curiosity, do you have like an example of one that you can kind of be able to give us by chance?
Well, holiday?
I just yeah, like,
Is that
yeah. I'm just
the main holiday that's not really, not really good is, Halloween,
okay.
and it's something you definitely have to look into for yourself to believe everything. But the Bible gives basically a date for the Great Flood,
Okay.
and so the Great Flood was to get rid of wicked people and the Nephilim.
Okay.
So the Nephilim were created by the fallen angels, demons, and they just caused havoc on the earth, according to the Bible. And so that was a big reason for the flood, to get rid of them. And if you count the date back that they give you in the Bible, and there's this whole, because there was a Hebrew calendar before the Julian calendar. So there's this whole like equation you have to do as far as getting the date right. But if you wind it back to that time that they gave, it's Halloween. So basically, Satan's tricking you into letting your kids go out and getting candy dressed up as ghouls and goblins just to get candy from strangers in your neighborhood. So, and that does seem like a pretty tricky thing that someone like Satan would do, like
Okay.
to get you to go against God. And I know that's, when you think about it, they're just going out to get candy and this and the other, but how does God think about that? So, but again, we're all sinners if you do it. It's not like witnesses will damn you. They're just saying, "Hey, we don't think that's right."
This
So
is our opinion. This is what we
right,
believe.
right.
Yeah. You've had some medical treatments recently. You've had a couple things that you've had to go through. How do the
Yes.
Jehovah Witnesses view medical treatment and like specifically blood transfusions?
Blood transfusions are a no-go, and it's a little bit iffy even if you donate blood to yourself ahead of time because you might need it during surgery. But, yeah, anything blood related, tissue related is not, recommended by witnesses.
Okay. Is there anything else medically that comes up that that has to kind of face?
I can't think of anything now, but I know the blood thing was the big one. That's the question I had. Blood and tissue, because stem cells, I guess, are off the table also. But other than that, I think anything else is a, personal choice,
Okay.
not really, spoken of in the Bible, so.
As you started to kind of get into the faith and learn more and more, what are some resources that you would recommend for someone who wants to learn more about the Jehovah Witnesses? Because that's something that is always kind of hard for there's so many things out there that could be misleading or misunderstood.
Yes, and definitely if you, get some mail or something taped to your door or something, like, you be like, "I don't wanna be bothered," but if you are interested, just Google Kingdom Halls, it'll give you an address, and actually go there, and then any question you have, they have a pamphlet for it's extensive, It's
Oh, wow.
it's
Like
like a
a
little
collection.
it's like a little library in the back of every kingdom hall. They have Bibles. They have, what to do for being a parent, for being a husband or a wife. So really, every element of your life, they have something for you. Like, if you're having financial problems, they'll tell you or give you advice to get back on track.
So there's like are there like classes kind of in a way as well for it? Or is it
They don't have
just a
classes, but it's all, like, material
material?
reading.
Okay.
But you can also take that material and ask for somebody to, instruct you or teach you on how to apply that, and somebody will come to you and talk to you for however long you need to make it make sense.
Okay.
So, and I can say this because it's happened. They are very generous with their time. They make like, if you can't come to them, they will come to you. And it's really a, exceptional thing that they do, the time that they make.
Yeah, that's awesome that they'd be able to provide such things because I can only imagine. I know I have my questions at times whenever I go anywhere, and having a pamphlet to be able to provide some information to be able to try to answer. I'm sure they've heard it all before, so that they've been able to create this backlog catalog that's available. That's awesome. Now, what are some misconceptions about the witnesses that you would like to clarify or be able to like give some more information about?
The first one would be the pushiness. All Christians are basically told to spread the word.
Right.
So, yes, we will try to engage you, but the ultimate responsibility is for you to ask questions, and then we will respond. Like, we're not going to knock on your door, bust in your door, and make you read the Bible. It's also another misconception that, like, we're just not fun. And that's another big one. And, maybe without holidays and stuff like that, that's tough to get over, but I've never not had fun at all.
You're a fun person to me.
Just to
Like
be
it's like
just to be around the other people that are so encouraging, so involved. And I've never been around when I first started in the Kingdom Hall here in Georgia. So the second time I came to a meeting, everybody still knew my name. They were invested in what I was doing in my life, and you were made to feel welcome, no matter what level you're at as far as where you are in your journey. So they're definitely good people.
now I know over the years that whenever discussing religion can be tough when having these conversations with people about your beliefs and your ideas. Have you had any conversations with friends or families that have with different beliefs, and how do you handle those?
Talking to other people about religion is tough.
It is hard.
Definitely for me.
Religion and politics, tough ones.
But if I'm talking to you and you're of a different faith and you're just telling me the ins and outs and there's no insulting or anything like that, then, okay, live and let live and we're good. Like, I gave you the information that you need. Is there anything else you need? And I'm not going to fire back any insults. So I've learned that. I'm not sure I'm 100% there, but definitely
Work in progress.
it definitely is.
That's the thing in life. We're always in a work in progress. Now, what do you hope to achieve or experience through your faith in Jehovah Witnesses? What are your goals? What is something that you would like to be able to find peace with?
You can always improve your relationship with your family. Actually, everybody, family, friends, strangers. I mean, yeah, I want to get to heaven. So I think that's the ultimate goal.
That is a wonderful, great goal to have.
Well, actually, heaven, there's 144,000 human souls that are going to go to heaven. Everybody else stays on earth.
Okay.
And that might be another thing.
So is that like your spirit stays behind in here, or like after you die? Like how does that, like I don't understand that fully.
Oh no, it's definitely paradise on earth. If you've got a dread disease or an issue, you're going to be as new. So, I mean, what's taught to us, and there's some Bible verses that explain that.
There's lots of things that I don't know how to ask questions on certain things. I don't know where to go. What are some things that maybe that we've overlooked or we haven't covered that you would like to discuss?
I think I would just like to talk up witnesses. We don't believe in war. We won't go to war.
So you're pacifists?
We're not going to kill anybody. That's an absolute no. In World War II, there was witnesses in some of the camps, and some of the witnesses, because they were pacifists, turned their guards into witnesses, and they refused. German soldiers refused to kill because of it. So I think if witnesses can affect evil like that, then, there's hope for us all.
That's awesome.
And it's not like as a witness or studying to become a witness, I believe in absolutely everything. Like the birthdays, I'm always going to celebrate my kids' birthdays. Not so much mine, because that's too much drama, I guess. But the way the witnesses explain it, King Herod, his stepdaughter, for her birthday, wanted him to kill St. John.
Okay.
And so he did, for his stepdaughter. And I think there's a whole other story there, but that's really the whole reason behind the non-celebrating birthday things. I think that's a man thing. I'm not sure, because it doesn't say anything about that in the Bible. So I'm not sure I really agree with that one. And that might be my whole disagreement with being a witness. Like, I don't think that really merits not celebrating your child's birth. But
Well, are there any last minute words of wisdom you would like to leave us with, or anything you would like to discuss real quick that before we leave out today?
I think if you're feeling down, or you're not feeling, or you feel something's missing, I think you should give it a try. There'd be no harm. Like, no one's going to harm you. No one's going to yell at you or put you down or anything like that. They'll welcome you in. And whether you choose to return is completely up to you. Like, somebody may call you and, ask you how you're feeling about it. Somebody will check up on you. But other than that, it seems like a no-lose to me. Like, just listen and go to it, and you can choose afterwards.
Dan, I appreciate you giving your time today and coming. We've been trying to do this for a little while, and
I know.
you've had some health issues. I've had some stuff that's been coming up back and forth, and I'm glad we finally got together and made this happen. I deeply appreciate your time today.
Okay, thank you.
So, well, guys, as we get ready to leave here, if you want to be able to catch up a little bit with me, I have a Facebook page. It is Learning from Friends Podcast. I have an email, which is cade, spelled CADE, @learningfromfriends.com. I have an X page. I don't really post on it, but it's there. But if you would like to contribute to the podcast, this is my biggest ask, is contribute a little bit of dollars here and there. $2, $5, $10. Contribute to that, because this is a free podcast I like to do as a hobby of mine. But again, there's always expenses that come along. So I'd appreciate that if you would like to be able to contribute. As far as another ask, share this with friends. Sit back and have conversations, open the doors. You never know what could happen whenever you have a conversation with friends. That's why I created this podcast, Learning from Friends, in order to learn from my friends about what they're passionate about, what they know. And I encourage that for you as well. So as we leave today, I encourage you all to get out and converse with your friends. Have fun, enjoy the weather, enjoy life, and most of all, don't forget to let your curiosity fly high.